And now on to 49. Seat belts. Some other decorative wires going down along the floorboards. Looks like. Okay, so we're putting in a seat belt on the left, on the driver's side. Oh, these are actual cloth seat belts. Interesting. One screw with a pin index. And that will be a IP screw. Screw goes in the front, and that puts the seat belt away from the center tunnel here. And then we'll put the other seat belt on the other side. This one has the screw on the back. I think they look identical, honestly, but I guess there is a little detail here that's mirrored. And again, an IP screw. Okay, those seat belts are in. Now some wiring. 49 FDE. 49F, which is red and black. Gotta sort out which of these are which. And there's some big black rubbery ones. And this one is a multicolored. That's one of them. That's 49E is the multicolored. The red and black is 49F. 49D is one of the black. They all look the same, but I guess the connectors are different, so it is slightly bigger and fatter is 49D. And I think we have all the bare ends all lining up together, and we're putting them through the tunnel under the passenger side, and they'll all be locked down going through here. Let's actually do this. Let's go have this sit up like this. And we'll put that on there and then tuck those wires underneath, and then we'll feed them through backwards. And that is using an AP and a GP screw. The GP screw is toward the center of the car. Should be right there. Try to get this snug, then back it off. Put all those cables in here. And then we'll use an AP screw to the side. And that should hold all those wires like that. And we'll feed them through the transmission tunnel here. Off to the side to let them come out in the footwell. Just do the black one first, multicolored, and then the red and black. Feed that into the wheel well. Excuse me, the footwell. Pull all those snug, and then those are going to run along the floor here. And we're going to zip tie them. I believe, let's see. Past the 249C cables. Those are these black ones. These black ones with the smaller connectors. Same place, but we're going to tie them in a different place. So let's feed them up through here. Feed those both through. And those are going to end up here. These are going to end up caught right here with an AP screw. Get them to the same length. And tie those with an AP screw with this captive device. Screw goes towards the middle of the car. So let me get this started. Get this captive device pretty close. And we'll tuck our two. The wires are really plastic tubes. Okay, I think that should, well, it's still loose. Let's make sure it's snug. Now snug, yes. And those two wires go along with all the other wires. Right down here in the passenger floorboard. And then we're going to zip tie all four of them together around there. And those will apparently tuck down here. And then we're going to zip tie them again near the, no, just over the steering wheel. Excuse me, just over the seat belt. Give another zip tie. What would help this a bit would be to have some little spots there where the zip ties could go through the body part in order to locate these wires and make sure they stay there, because I don't think there's anything to keep them there. But I guess we're trying to make it look homemade, experimental. So basically huge tangles of wires just on top of the seatbelt there. We need 49 H and G. That is a black wire with no connectors on it, front or back. And 49G, which is yellow and red. And the one they sent me has yellow, red, blue, and brown. But what the heck? Might as well keep all the colors. And we're going to zip tie those together, basically zip tie them twice to bundle them together. And we'll zip tie them again over here at about the same distance. Trim those zip ties. So there we have it. And now that is going on the driver's side, and those wires are tucking through and going right under the center with an AP and a GP screw. So let's get those coming through. Grab them and just have them get wrangled right there by an AP and a GP screw. I'll give it a little extra just until we get this figured out. So that's an AP screw on the passenger side and a GP on the driver's side. This is passenger side. Now a GP screw on the driver's side, and those wires should tuck near the tunnel. And then they want us to wrangle these wires over here with another one of these attachments. Again, AP on the outside of the car, GP towards the center of the car. So start with the AP on the edge, outer edge. Just get it started. We've got a GP towards the center of the car, and that wrangles all these wires. And again, we would need to wrangle some wires over here. And I think it's all these. Let's see, the black and the rainbow. All those wires all should get wrangled down there with an AP and a GP. AP towards the center of the car, GP towards the outside of the car. Excess folded up out of the way. We may trim those later. We do have a couple of extra zip ties, so maybe another zip tie up under here just to get this in order. Get these all in order. Let's do that, in fact. Zip tie up under the dash just to keep these wires nicely wrangled. And again on the passenger side, get those wires to all really stay together. That yellow seems like it's trying to be a troublemaker. Get the yellow to tuck in a little better. There we go. Get those wires a little more wrangled. And there we go. We've got wires on the driver's side, wires on the passenger side. We've wrangled them all on the back end. And let's trim this black wire because it's just going to be trim that down just a little bit. It looks like we've wrangled the wires mostly. And that's it for number 49. And now we're up to number 50. This looks like some seats. And I think they're made of metal. They seem pretty heavy. This looks like the driver's seat, actually. Nice authentic seats. Very kind of rubbery, actually. And a nice little, I think, kind of authentic detail ridge down the middle. There are some foam inserts, and I think those probably stay under there. So your little Barbie doll will have a nice cushy seat to sit in. There's the seat back. Unfortunately, it has a little part where it's pushing against the plastic molding. Hopefully that gets a little better over time. The rubbery part, we have our foam inside there, and we have a metal backing, seat backing. This is metal, and that will sit right into there, and all these ridges need to find their way in. Okay, and then same on the bottom part of the seat. We have a decorative backing in plastic, but there's a metal, this is a metal seat bottom. So we have the seat bottom rubber, then we put the seat bottom metal, make sure all of those little details notch in. The hinge parts are plastic. Then we have to drive screws from the inside. Oh, and there's a little notch on this piece that has to be lined up. The little notch has to line up with the metal notch, and then it should sit flush like that. Sitting absolutely flush, and we'll drive a HP screw from the back side. And I'll see if I can put for the first one anyway, we can put our screwdriver through the opposite hole before we try to drive that screw in order to get that to line up perfectly. The second one will be a little more challenging. And I think we want to have that be pretty snug, but still allow it to be bent. Okay, same thing on the other side. There's a notch we have to align. There's a little molding flashing there we need to deal with. There we go. And it does sit flush right there. And we'll drive a HP screw from the backside. We'll try to drive this as flat and flush as we can, but unfortunately the screwdriver can't quite line up perfectly. Okay, there we go. Nice little detail, little knobs. As we tuck this in, we got to get the rubber to tuck in slightly there, and that looks pretty good. Now we put the plastic, 2 pieces of plastic. Let's see. Oh yes, okay, so this is the decorative top part. And that is with DM screws. And there's a lot of these, so I'll get my ratcheter. Let's get them all started before we tighten them down. These are a little too large for my screwdriver as I tighten them down, so I'll have to use a different, smaller screwdriver. Just get them started. That one seems too fat as well. Here we go, this should be small enough to not rub on that plastic. Nice cushy seats. And now we put the bottom piece in. Just a plastic cover. Let's see, we want to see the ridges like that. And again, DM screws. Okay, and now that we have that seat constructed, we can attach it in here. Make sure the seat belt doesn't get stuck underneath. And it should go on those ridges. We're going to catch it from the bottom with some HP screws. HP screws here on the bottom. And it's even adjustable because there's slots instead of holes. So if you have a dark brown doll that goes in there, you slide it all the way to the back, and when you put your Marty McFly doll in, you can push it all the way to the front. Oh, and I did make a little mistake here. This wiring needs to go get trapped in here. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to fix that. Let's see. See if this wiring will squish back through there. Because the seat is a little bit rubbery. So maybe it will be able to find its way in there. Now I'll have to remove the seat and do that again, and I will have to get those wires captive again. So let's undo that. Get them all through there. And the seat belt is still where it needs to be. And we'll reattach this. Okay, and then we'll feed these wires through. Feed these wires back through the tranny tunnel. And that is the end of issue 50. And now issue 51, this is the passenger seat. Sure seems identical to the driver's seat, so I wonder if there's any difference. Push the metal part into the back of the seat, make sure that everything is, all these get aligned properly. Same with the bottom. Align them all so they have the nice shape to them. And we screw in these with HP. And I fed the screwdriver through the hole to try to line it up perfectly here. Plastic back with DM screws. And the bottom piece. I'll go ahead and attach the seat into the vehicle, making sure to get the wires over, but not clamp down on the wires, but make sure the wires are next to the seat on the inside, and use some HP screws. And these wires are really getting in the way. We use our HP screw. Make sure our wires are still in the proper place. I think we're still going to be okay. They're very squished, but they're not real wires, they're just decorative. And there we go, the wires are tucked in just to this left of the seat. Got both of our seats in place, and that is it for issue 51. Okay, now we have issue 52. Door sill. Looks like some wires going to the outside edge of the driver's seat. All the flexible ones, two black, no, 3 black and a multicolor. And we're just going to zip tie some of these together. Just kind of get those lined up. We're going to zip tie some together here. So there I have a nice little bundle, and I'm going to feed those through behind in the notch here behind the steering wheel, behind the driver's side. And then these are going down along the floor just left of the driver's seat. And then there is a place to catch them here on the back, and we will tuck them. Seems like we'll tuck them under here. Grab some FP, some AP screws, and this little guy to catch those with an AP screw. Sure, it doesn't seem like it wants to line up very well. There we go, that's a little better. These all go through the notch here, and we should tuck these under there. That means we have to loosen one of these. This is on the driver's side. Okay, so we have that bundle of wires here next to the driver's seat. That looks pretty good. And then we have, I think this is the emergency brake. We're tucking in right here against the door sill, and we'll catch that with AP screw. Okay, nice and snug there. The door sill, and I think the door sill faces inward like this, but that wire, these wires, it looks like they've put them up here and tuck them next to the e-brake. Tuck them in here. We may have to do that here in a minute, but we are going to secure those with FP screws. And there we go, we have our door sill. E-brake. Let's see, I'm going to scoop this zip tie and kind of try to tuck those wires behind the e-brake a little bit. Definitely want a little more length here. And a little more length there. There we go. And there you have it, wires and a door sill. And that will do it for issue 52.